Hello and welcome to Gar1onriva's Top 5. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 fantasy games. I see fantasy as a setting rather than a genre. It's a setting in which there are swords and magic, but not proper technology, anything like what we have today. Because of this, some things I had on my shortlist were cut because I consider them too sci-fi, ones like Final Fantasy itself, which has a lot of sci-fi elements. But for this list, it will be games that have a good combination of a fantasy quality, the world, as well as good gameplay to go along with it. Or at least one good enough to outweigh the other. Number 5, Undertale. This one, that's why I added that last bit at the end. This one has terrible gameplay in my opinion, but really interesting lore. It's well documented how I dislike Undertale's gameplay. I hate bullet hells, and they tend to put me off a lot of games that I would probably otherwise enjoy. But that one, yeah, it did really put me off. But the story is so good that I think it deserves a place in this list. It is a unique experience, and really, if the gameplay was better, if the gameplay was anything other than a bullet hell, I would probably have replayed the game 2 or 3 times by now. Number 4, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Admit it, the list would be complete without this one. It is a massive fantasy world, and it's just got so much in it. So much from, like, monsters to thriving, living towns. And the fact that the DLC Hearthfire allows you to build a house with a plot of land you own, move your family there, adopt children. It allows you to build a life in a way that most fantasy RPGs just don't. I'll admit that Skyrim was the first Elder Scrolls game I've ever really played. I have played a bit of Oblivion that I played before Skyrim, but it just didn't grab me anywhere near in the way that Skyrim did. I mean, my first playthrough of Skyrim, my only playthrough of Skyrim so far, I had over 200 hours on the clock for it, so what does that tell you? And the last thing I'll note is that the Radiant quests and the dynamic occupation of dungeons makes the world feel much more alive. Number 3, Total War Warhammer. Okay, I'll admit that this one might be a little bit cheaty. Considering it's a combination of 2 established things, it could be argued that the things that I like about it come from these other things and not itself. But the fact that they're combined in this in a way that neither of the other 2 really worked, I think it deserves a place on this list. I've said too many times to count that I have always been a long-term fan of Warhammer, and the Warhammer lore is one of the best things about it. Some of the army books you can just read and you can just fall in love with the army without having seen a single model. And the way that the lore's been transferred into this game so it's still accessible but true to form is quite impressive. Along with that, the gameplay is very addictive. I have well over 100 hours in this game, probably close to 200 now. And while, yeah, that comes from the Total War series it's a spin-off of, none of those games have ever caught me, not even slightly, whereas this one, I'm hooked. All of that combined with the potential for lots of DLC and additional races means that this game has loads of places it could go. They've already added a smaller campaign and a couple of new races, and I look forward to what they do still have to release. Number 2, Baldurs Gate. This is an old one. I think it came out in the early 90s, and I played it to death when I was a child. We had it, and it came on 5 discs and 1 expansion disc. This was before DLC, of course. And, I played them so much. I could probably recount which towns you need, which disc you need for which town, just off the top of my head. It was the first real RPG I ever played, and although it is D&D lore, it is a Dungeons & Dragons based game. It uses advanced Dungeons & Dragons rules in computer game form. And although I think it is actually using an established area of the D&D world, I've played other ones that also use the D&D world, and just none of them are as good as Baldur's Gate. Even Baldur's Gate sequel just didn't interest me in the same way that the first one did, and I was so pleased to find that an enhanced version of it was on Steam. It has a deep, interesting story that I keep coming back to, and it has clever mechanics. For a game as old as it is, it could still give a lot of modern games a run for their money in the way it handles the party. Cough, cough, Wasteland 2, looking at you. So that's why it has second place. And finally, number 1, Dishonored. I hope you saw this one coming. I love Dishonored. I really love Dishonored. And this one could potentially be called sci-fi because it has some of these futuristic elements of like fantastical technology, like the wall of light and stuff like that, which could be considered sci-fi, but I consider it electropunk, I think is the term. So that's still fantasy-esque over sci-fi-esque. And of all the games I've ever played, this has the single best combination of a fancy world and amazing gameplay. I played through the game 2 or 3 times now, and I am so excited for 2, which is coming out in a couple of months. I've already pre-ordered 2, and I gotta love playing through that. It has an amazing immersive world, and the extra lore that's there, if you just look for it, makes this game the best fantasy game I've ever played. And that is all for the list. Thank you very much for watching. If there's anything you think I've missed, anything I have said that you disagree with, or if you have any suggestions for future top or bottom 5s, please leave me a comment below. Please also consider pledging to my Patreon, linked in the description. And I will catch you later.